At DigiMarCon Boston. I'm here with Ted Cullinane from Flocco. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
So can you tell us a bit about what Flocco does and what you're doing here today?
Definitely. So Flowcode is an online to offline platform that helps brands measure and attribute all their offline marketing efforts. So we do so native, custom designed QR codes and mobile friendly. They've seen us across a number of different TV activations, most recently with ESPN, Turner Sports, NBC, Univision, a number of other growing partners.
Okay. So people are probably familiar with QR codes, like you said, on TV. There's the famous Coinbase commercial, right? So, those are the most common use case you see for QR codes. Or I'm an amateur, but I would imagine it's you go to their website, purchase a product, like that sort of thing. What are some use cases that companies out there or consumers aren't necessarily aware of at the moment that are kind of popping off?
Yeah, what we're seeing is that the biggest avenue for us is the consumer education around using QR codes, and it just not being something you can generate off the internet and then place on your marketing material and expect people to engage with it the way you want. There really comes a level of education around what is the call to action around the code. Are you featuring that call to action within the actual audio? Do you have a text call to action within the code itself? How many people will be scanning this code at the particular time? So working with a partner that can load test these codes to make sure they can withstand potentially millions of scans at a 30-second time frame, like the Coinbase ad didn't do. And thinking about other creative ways to get the user's attention, which is what we're doing with a lot of our custom designed codes that are a lot more eye-catching than just the static black and white QR codes.
Okay. And most people that come to Flowcode, are they coming from a background of, maybe they've tried out QR codes once or twice, maybe they've done it more robustly, but are having trouble managing all of them? Is it just like a brand new thing for them? Essentially, are they switching from already being involved in QR codes and this type of acquisition or conversion optimization, or is it just brand new to them?
Yeah, I'd say it's a mix of both. I think a lot of our partners, it's not like a benefit of our product is that you don't need to explain to someone what a QR code is. People are very familiar with just the basic technology of a QR code. So typically when they're coming to our site, they have a need or a use case of using QR that they either want more features for, more managed service support, more data and analytics, more custom designed codes, and that's where we're able to help work with them to figure out what their specific goals are around using QR and measuring the impact of their offline to online engagements.
And what percentage of Flowcode clients, customers are there any B2B, or is it pretty much all consumer focused?
Yeah, so we have millions of people using the Flowcode platform just across our entire ecosystem. So those could range from local coffee shops needing to use a QR code to scan to get to their menu. Same thing with local restaurants or teachers that are using QR codes for in-classroom type activations. Conversely, we have partners that I mentioned across, the ESPN, Turner Sports, NBC, BMW, Boston Beer Company. They're using QR using Flowcode as their offline to online, platform and service. So we have, it really comes down to the persona of what people are looking to do with their codes, and we have teams and resources that are, here to work with you based on what those particular goals are. If you're a individual just using one-off QR type execution, or if you're a large enterprise business and you need support handling that offline to online at a scalable, data-friendly, privacy-safe capacity.
Okay, and just a couple more questions here. One is, it's a fairly new space, but I was talking to your colleague. There are some other services that are doing similar to what you do in this space. So what differentiates Flowcode? Why would someone go with you over some of the competition?
Totally. So we are 100% based domestically in the United States. We have teams working, within, U.S. time zones that primarily you haven't seen with a lot of the QR providers in the space that are based internationally. Mm-hmm. The second is all of our codes are GDPR, CCPA compliant. So when you're working with some of the largest brands in the world, they need to be able to know that their data is not being or is really being handled properly. So all of our codes are privacy GDPR safe, preventing any sort of malicious usage of the codes or data being collected at the point of scan. So having that checkbox, the artistic design is going to be the biggest thing that stands out for us. So being able to create codes that look like advertisements and offline ads that people want to feature within their marketing materials. So featuring their logos, their hex colors, their brand artifacts. We've created codes in the shape of different foods or automobiles or really anything that you want to feature your QR code within. We have the ability to build out those codes for you and your team. We have a mobile-friendly product called Flow Page, which is our sister product, where we can direct all that scan traffic from the Flow code itself to the Flow Page. So think of a mobile microsite that can house, different links or text fields that you can use, as a way to capture first-party data and engage with your consumers in a really easy to use mobile-friendly landing experience. And the last I would say is no other QR provider has run the amount of QR codes on TV that we have at the scale that we do. So having really great TV network partners, not only at some of the brands that I mentioned, but a number of different local media TV stations, connected television platforms. That's what really gives us the advantage in the space to be able to say, we're working with some of the best partners out there, and they're using the best QR platform in the space as well.
Okay, and I think my last question here, or actually two more, but one of my last ones is so I run the client services team at an SEO agency, so we're narrowly focused on SEO primarily, B2C, largely e-commerce, but at this conference, I'm sure at lots of other places you go, there's tons of agencies out there. Not really something that's on a lot of agencies' radars.
Yep.
How should agencies like mine start thinking about communicating with their clients regarding QR codes? Is it something where they really need to shop out that expertise? Could they learn it in-house? Is it just a matter of making the connection between them and Flocco?
Yeah, one thing that we've seen a lot of is that you go to some of the largest companies in the world, whether you're a brand direct or an agency, and the decision makers at either of those companies have known that their company has tested QR codes historically. However, I guarantee you that 90% of all those senior decision makers that you're asking don't know what platform that they've tested QR and where that data is living after they've ran the campaign and are continuing to run programs. Mm-hmm. What we're trying to do is really be that first QR vendor that you can use as a trusted member of your team, where we can not only work with you from just a one-off campaign execution, like where we'd be powering the codes for DigiMarCon, but how can we work across an entire company or agency in their brand portfolio by being able to give them all the reporting, analytics, dashboards, folders, you name it, that they can create and house all of this data in a way that is very easy to use, understand, and manipulate. Very similar to how you'd get your clicks, video views, and online data. So yeah. That's what we're really trying to solve for, and being able to do so in a scalable way when we're working with some of the largest, marketers and agencies in the world.
Okay, awesome. And last question I have for you is, someone watching this, listening to this, they think Flowcode might be right for them, their business, their clients. How should they get in touch?
Yeah, so you can go to flowcode.com/contact sales. We have someone, in touch with you within a few hours, if not, a short amount of time. So, we're more than happy to help you with, any questions or thoughts, but would love to help, and hopefully we can make that happen.
Awesome. All right. Thanks a bunch, Ted.
All right. Thanks, Noah.
All right.